The morning started like any other, with the faint smell of instant coffee and the creak of my old wooden floorboards echoing through the house. I had raised my daughter, Amelia, in this very home. The same home where I had dreamed, sacrificed, and built a life after losing my husband too soon. I never imagined that one day she'd look at me not with love, but with disgust. Amelia had always been my pride, smart, ambitious, and beautiful. But ever since she married into a wealthy family, something changed. She began speaking differently, dressing differently, and soon enough, treating me like I was some embarrassing relic from a life she wanted to forget. That morning, she came over unannounced. She was wearing her usual designer clothes, her hair tied tight, her face expressionless. "Mom," she began, with that cold tone that always sliced through me. "Why do you still live like this? You could sell this house and move into something decent. You look old." I forced a smile, trying to lighten the moment. "This house is filled with memories, sweetheart. It's not about looks." She rolled her eyes, pulled out her phone, and began scrolling. I reached for the coffee pot to pour her a cup like I always did, but she looked up and said, "Don't bother. The last time I drank your coffee, it tasted like the past, bitter and burnt." Her words hurt, but I stayed calm. "Amelia," I said softly, "you've changed. You speak to me like I'm your enemy." She laughed bitterly. "Because you make yourself one. You cling to your sad little life, your wrinkles, your outdated ways. You don't fit in anymore." Before I could respond, she snatched the cup from my hand, sniffed it, and suddenly threw the stale coffee right in my face. It was cold, but the sting went deeper than skin. "That coffee looks just like your face, old and disgusting," she spat out, her voice shaking with anger or perhaps shame. I stood there, the liquid dripping down my cheeks, feeling the weight of every sacrifice I had ever made for her. My hands trembled, but I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I simply looked at her and said quietly, "You should go." She blinked, surprised by my calmness. "What?" "You heard me," I said, walking to the door. "If you can treat me like this, you don't deserve to be here." She hesitated, but pride kept her silent. I opened the door, my heart breaking, and whispered, "I hope one day you find the love I tried to give you." And with that, I threw her out, with nothing. The door clicked shut, and the silence that followed was deafening. I stood there for a long time, feeling the ache of motherhood, that strange mix of love and sorrow that no one truly understands until they've lost what they love most. That night, I sat by the window, staring at the moonlight spilling across the old family photos. I wondered if I'd gone too far. Had I really thrown my own daughter out of my life? The guilt was unbearable, but deep down, I knew something had to change. I spent days replaying her words in my mind. Old and disgusting. It wasn't just an insult. It was a mirror to how she saw the world. She believed beauty and youth were everything. And maybe, in her world of fake smiles and social media perfection, love had no place unless it looked flawless. Weeks passed. I didn't hear from her. No calls, no messages, just silence. Until one evening, I received a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside was a photo of Amelia, bruised, sitting on a hospital bed. The note was written in shaky handwriting. "Mom, I need you." My heart stopped. I rushed to the hospital that night, my hands trembling as I walked into her room. She looked small, fragile, nothing like the proud woman who had once thrown coffee in my face. Her eyes filled with tears when she saw me. "Mom," she whispered, "I'm sorry." I took her hand, feeling the warmth of her skin, and for the first time in years, I felt my daughter again, not the cold, distant woman she'd become, but my little girl. She confessed that her husband had been cruel to her, that he made her feel worthless, and that in her pain, she had mirrored his cruelty toward me. "I thought I was powerful," she said, "but I was just broken." Tears streamed down my face as I brushed her hair back gently. "You're not broken, Amelia. You just forgot who you are, and I forgot that sometimes love has to let go before it can return." Over the next few months, Amelia moved back in with me. She helped me repaint the old house, cooked with me, and even laughed like she used to. Every morning, she made us both coffee. One day, she placed a steaming cup in front of me and said with a shaky smile, "I made it strong, just like you." We both laughed, the sound echoing through the kitchen, warm and alive. Life wasn't perfect, but it was real again. And sometimes, when I look at her across the table, I realize that pain, even the kind that burns your soul, can heal into something more powerful. Forgiveness. That day when she threw coffee in my face, I thought I had lost my daughter forever. But maybe that was the day she started finding her way back home.